Shanlin Great Love village of Kaohsiung, Tzu Chi is offering tutoring and scholarships to encourage education. And we'll begin a new investigative series looking at the importance of the police in modern Taiwanese society. Hello, and welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Duncan DeAeth. Thank you for joining us. At the beginning of the year, a severe drought took place in Cambodia. The government of Taiwan provided 600 tons of rice for the disaster victims with the help of the Tzu Chi Foundation. Starting in August, distribution events were hosted throughout Cambodia. Recently, an event was held in Phnom Penh with volunteers from Singapore, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Cambodia participating in the distribution work.
On September 24th, the Tzu Chi Foundation partnered with the government of Cambodia's youth organization to host a rice distribution event in Phnom Penh, benefiting a total of 981 families.
The smile on everyone's face was innocent. I think it's like going back to their childhood, because I myself had that kind of smile only when I was 5 or 6 years old.
It was worthwhile seeing the smiles on their faces when we delivered the rice to them in person. I think it's worth doing this.
A local Dharma master also came to help with the rice distribution.
I am very happy to volunteer, to share, even though I don't have anything, but I share my energy, my activity to this.
These large-scale distribution events recruited Tzu Chi volunteers from 4 places, including Singapore, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Cambodia. Everyone worked with one heart to complete their mission, which was worth everyone's dedication.
The Shanlin Great Love village in Kaohsiung recently held a reconstruction area scholarship ceremony. After Typhoon Morakot, Tzu Chi volunteers have been taking extra care of the children in the Shanlin Great Love village, offering Wednesday afternoon tutoring and evening tutoring classes from Monday to Friday every week. And in July, the volunteers started a summer tutoring program. The scholarships will help inspire the children to study hard.
The scholarship ceremony begins with a performance by the students and the parents. Li Zhaozi's 2 children are in the tutorial, and she has taken part in the sutra adaptation. She has seen the changes in her children.
The changes in the children are very obvious. At the beginning, they refused to take part in an activity like this one, but now they have taken part and can perform on stage. My biggest benefit is that I can do what I need to do, and I can leave my children to a big family like Tzu Chi.
Her children won scholarships for their studies in this tutoring program. In the company of Tzu Chi volunteers, many children in the reconstruction area also spend their free time in meaningful ways.
今天得到什么奖？全勤奖。全勤奖哦，是你很喜欢上课，天天都上，是不是？嗯。
Many children cannot receive awards or recognition from their studies or other competitions, but Tzu Chi is very mindful, as they do their best to create honor and confidence for these parents and their children.
The scholarships are given to 234 people from elementary schools to universities. Tzu Chi hopes this will help spread the seed of kindness and make the growing sprouts stronger.
Chen Jiayi is a 6th grade student living in the Great Love village in Shanlin, Kaohsiung with her parents and her twin brother. Her parents do odd jobs. However, her mother recently had a car accident and has been recuperating at home. To look after her, Jiayi and her brother do housework. Jiayi's selfless nature has made her a role model for her classmates.
When they arrive home, they do housework first. When Jiayi and her twin brother receive tasty food at school, they always bring it home.
送给你。这是什么啊？这边奇异果，这是另外发的。哦，那你们为什么没吃？吃饱了。
Both of them show their love to their mother. 3 months ago, their mother broke her spinal cord in a car accident. She still cannot carry anything heavy.
有点车祸啊。车祸，开刀吗？2个
Both kids always look after me, such as washing my face, brushing my teeth, or feeding me. When I cannot move, they will say, "Mom, don't worry, we will look after you." It really touches me, as I feel I didn't waste my time on them.
Their mother is from Hunan, China. She once did odd jobs and brought home cans and bottles to recycle them. Her children know their parents work hard for money, so they are very frugal.
They never say they want anything, never. When I asked them if they need any new clothes, she said, "We already have many clothes, so I don't have to buy any clothes."
Jiayi's old cell phone shows she really cherishes everything. Her mother gave it to her 2 years ago, and Jiayi always uses it to take photos. She is very quiet and helpful when compared to her brother.
牵单车啊，他自己都不牵。
那你为什么帮他做？
我要去了，他不去啊，所以就我牵了。别人说你应该是姐姐才对，我说错，我是妹妹。
可是你都帮他做事情，人家以为你是姐姐。
那没关系啊，因为他是我哥啊。
Jiayi won a Tzu Chi Reconstruction Area Scholarship, allowing her to choose a gift, as she ultimately chooses.
She chose a soccer ball. I asked her why, and she said her brother didn't have a soccer ball.
Both of them attend the Shanlin tutorial every day, and Jiayi's considerate attitude continues to inspire and touch Tzu Chi volunteers all the time.
One day, her brother Jiaxin asked me, "Auntie, you must come every afternoon?" His expression showed that he cared about we going there every day. Then Jiayi told him that we should thank Auntie. How did Jiayi thank me? She did so with her full attendance award.
Now she has the award. Jiayi wants to give it to her dear mother.
Mom always looks after us, so I want to give the scholarship to Mom and said, "I love you, Mom."
Teachers pass on knowledge and nurture talented students. Zhuang Jingzhi is one such teacher. She has been teaching Chinese language and culture in Malaysia for 35 years, and she's the winner of the 2016 Overseas Teacher Award.
这本是庄主任，来自是马来西亚。
Teacher Zhuang Jingzhi had a surgery on her leg, so she cannot walk easily. But she never feels these physical problems as she teaches Chinese language courses in Malaysia.
I'm an ordinary person, so in a place like Malaysia, I'm very meaningful. With respect to education, especially teaching at independent schools, I don't mind any difficulties I encounter.
Being a member of local Tzu Chi Teachers Association is the motivation for Zhuang to teach Chinese language in Sabah. Being touched by Master Zheng Yan, she brings Tzu Chi humanity to the local education.
我觉得我依归的地方是
I feel I depend on Tzu Chi's humanity a lot, so I always use things like recycling and respect for life from Tzu Chi as an establishment for this year.
Thank you very much. It's nice to have you because you let the world see Taiwan.
15 teachers from overseas received the award this year. They will continue teaching Chinese language and culture in their countries of residence, and they also hope more new teachers will join them to teach Chinese language in foreign countries.
In our next series of investigative reports, we'll be taking a look at the police force in Taiwan. We'll see how they are organized, the most common issues they deal with, and learn about some of the newest developments taking place in departments across Taiwan. In our first report, we'll check out 2 stations in Taipei and see how officers there are safeguarding the public. These police officers are preparing their equipment and uniforms for another day at work. The average police officer is on duty for 12 full hours a day. Enduring air pollution and risking dangers, these officers maintain their vigil in order to keep civilians safe from potential drunk drivers. The current reality is that the police force in Taiwan lacks the manpower to provide shift rotations, so officers must serve long patrols without breaks, which can lead to fatigue.
那边有告示牌，有没有看到？徒步区内禁止停车。就早上7点到晚上早上7点到10点才能够临停。知道吗？
When forced to write a ticket, this officer does so without hesitation to carry out his public duty.
徒步内禁止停车的有没有知道？来，那个证件借我一下。
There's so many street vendors that we will always have to deal with some stopping and setting up in restricted areas. Generally speaking, they're usually anxious already about where they stop, and we just have to remind them of the laws. Generally, there's never a big dispute.
After surveying police on the street, the most commonly reported issues they encounter are people asking for directions, people reporting lost goods, and customers reporting disputes with businesses. Often, these things aren't even the responsibility of the police, but officers do whatever they can to help out when requested.
When you are expected to interact with the public, your people skills are really important. Also, if you have any foreign language ability. Since this is a popular tourist spot, of course we have to deal with lots of different situations and communicate with people to solve their problems.
Protecting the people and their rights is a responsibility that can take countless forms. Before the law, everyone is equal, and police in Taiwan today are striving to be more empathetic in responding to the needs of the people.
In addition to their regular responsibilities, keeping the environment clean is also one of the station's priorities. However, the most important duty is to keep alert and be ready at all times to any situation that may develop.
Deciding who should stay and manage the station and who should be deployed in what areas is often a complicated decision to make. This generally falls to the station chief to organize.
I observe the regular conduct and deportment of officers to determine where they are best suited, whether that be security monitoring, investigating criminal cases, or managing traffic and dealing with public. We also take their interests and skills into consideration when making a deployment.
Police on patrol are on duty for 6 hours at a time every day, making sure their assigned neighborhoods are kept safe and constantly monitoring their radio to make sure they don't miss any reports or deployment information. Places where many young people gather, such as in front of KTVs, are hotspots that police regularly monitor. In the next episode, we will see how the law in Taiwan is dealing with some young offenders these days. Typhoon Meranti swept through Pingdong's Xiaoliuqiu with seawater flooding the streets and causing power outages with many houses damaged throughout the island. Tzu Chi volunteers traveled to Tianfu Village and Nanfu Village, using 7 different routes to conduct home visitations in order to comfort affected residents with love and care.
After the damage caused by Typhoon Meranti to Pingdong and Xiaoliuqiu, local Tzu Chi volunteers took 7 different routes to care for residents living on the island. This senior who lives alone was still busy cleaning fallen leaves after the typhoon swept through this region. Volunteers brought care and compassion to her as she shed tears after finally having someone to talk to. Volunteers comforted this senior with love and compassion to relieve her worries. Many elderly people in Xiaoliuqiu have to live alone since most of the young adults have left their hometown to find work. After 2 days of heavy wind buffeted this region, senior Hongchen Yuhua and her husband cleared 30 bags of trash from around their house.
There was trash all around our house. We had to clean up the environment on our own since the young people were not home. I felt pain in both my hands and legs, but I dressed the wounds on my own. It will cost about 1,000 NT dollars every time I go to the clinic.
After having a short talk with volunteers, this senior moved everyone with her optimistic heart. She expressed gratitude for volunteers since they had brought warmth and love to her. Volunteers went door to door, bring love and care for the typhoon victims in Xiaoliuqiu, hoping to help them quickly get back on their feet.
Ecuador's 4.16 earthquake damaged many homes, affecting 30,000 people and creating a major housing shortage, which has been a major headache for the government. Many disaster survivors continue to live in tents as they wait for the government to build permanent housing. While the government plans to move earthquake survivors out of tent cities within a year, Some say slow reconstruction work could take 4 years to complete, which is testing the patience of those living in the tent cities.
This father picks up his daughter and sobs, the tears streaming from his eyes. Sitting in this church is a family of 4 whose house has been ruined by the earthquake. With only one room spared is given to their children. The photos rescued from the rubble adorn the room, and all the clothes and toys were donated to them through the goodwill of others. Afraid that an earthquake could strike again, they sleep each night in a tent.
I just gave him support and words of encouragement, saying that he can face these challenges because it is really difficult.
This piece of open space, which only has one building standing, was once Johan's house.
It's really hard to come back because all of my efforts for the past 12 years have been wasted, and now I have nothing.
Como estuve diciendo, 12 años trabajar para construir una casa. Y ahorita no tenemos nada.
The church gives the family $150 a month in living expenses, but before the earthquake, Johan sold fish and in 1 month could earn $700 to $900 in wages, making this meager subsidy difficult for him to make a comeback.
We now rely on aid of the people, and the church has helped us a lot. We accept God's teachings, and when we hear the hymns, it helps comfort us and put us at peace.
For some disaster survivors, they have no choice but to live in this tent city. The Ecuadorian government tent area was created in cooperation with international organizations and has military-type management and order.
We set out a lot of regulations, such as this chart, which tells them what time lunch is, or the other 3 meals served, and where they can use the bathroom or the showers.
The camp has many strict regulations governing the use of water.
The idea is not to waste the water. Monday from 8 to 10, all the people know that at that time they can wash clothes, so they have enough water to wash the clothes.
Disaster survivors also have to rotate in shifts to keep the area tidy, and there are some basic social services that are available. For example, residents are able to apply for a basic subsidy from the management center, and the medical station is open 24 hours a day. There's even a daycare service to help look after children.
How do you make them happy?
Drown, play, dancing.
There's even a food storage facility.
So the idea is that the people don't get sick because bad food. So everything is storage here, so they can have fresh food every time.
While the Ecuadorian government has gone out of their way to create the most comfortable tent area, disaster survivors still want to have their own place to live.
People like her that is renting, they are going to have their own land and a new house. But it's not going to be like tomorrow. It's going to be in a couple of months. Right now, the Minister of Housing, I would say in Ecuador, is working on the new land.
These steel structure houses are being planned by the government as a sort of permanent housing, with the single-floor units having a total of 36 square meters. The stainless steel frame is the primary structure, and there's also models with a second story, which also offer 36 square meters. This also comes with the same light steel frame, plus cement wall reinforcement, which is much more sturdy than traditional brick or wooden houses.
The government has already planned 8,000 public housing units that need to be built.
According to the Ecuadorian government's plans, at the earliest, this reconstruction could take 1 year, while at the longest it may take 4 years to complete. For the moment, these disaster survivors simply need to wait and see.
In China, more and more people have become Tzu Chi volunteers. On August 28th, a Tzu Chi office in Jilin province held a training camp, and trainees from Harbin, Heilongjiang province spent 7 to 8 hours getting to the camp. They came to learn about the Tzu Chi spirit and help spread it to their hometowns.
10 trainees from Harbin spent 7 to 8 hours on the road to arrive in Changchun for a training camp. Volunteer Luo Qingying from Taiwan shares Tzu Chi's recycling ideal with them.
The 4 elements are out of balance now. Much of it is because of natural disasters, but many were caused by man-made disasters. Haven't we wasted away many of the Earth's resources?
These classes have touched many trainees. Zhang Liping mentions her changes from suspicion to devotion.
I was suspicious when I came to Tzu Chi. I joined activities to understand Tzu Chi. One Saturday afternoon, I joined a study session. They talked about the money from the coin banks being used on international relief work, and it stunned me.
82-year-old Wang Jinghua started using the front yard at her house in May as a place to do recycling. She also invites her neighbors to do it. Now her children have joined her.
I follow the master's teachings. I will make the recycling station in Harbin thrive. Then I can invite more people to join us.
Sharing the joy of doing Tzu Chi work with others, Wang Jinghua sets an example for others to follow as she wants to gather more people in Harbin.
TEMA member Dr. Pan Kun-ing is an avid participant in the free clinics held at Nanzhuang, Miaoli County. Over the years, he has come to regard the seniors as his family members, and vice versa. Dr. Pan's wife also participates in the free clinics, and both do their best to provide medical services to residents living in remote areas.
Dr. Pan leans forward to hear clearly the grandma's words. He holds the grandma's hand like a child. For years, Dr. Pan cherishes this monthly free clinic.
She's a diabetic patient and receives insulin injections because her diabetes is acting up.
Many patients in Nanzhuang are seniors, so Dr. Pan diagnoses their problems with attention. Dr. Pan's wife, Xu Chuihua, is a nurse, and she always goes along to the free clinic. The couple can do good deeds together. The free clinic in Zhuolan, Miaoli County is also held once a month. TEMA doctors, nurses, and volunteers always come because they have promised the seniors that they will keep them healthy.
At the end of our program, we'll leave you with some images from a recent aid distribution for residents of Almaty, South Africa, where volunteers have also been offering free meals twice a week to over 200 local residents. That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us. Goodbye.